If you're not testing, you're guessing. Hi, I'm Tom with Disruption Dynamics. We help business adapt fast, stay focused, and thrive in disruption. If there's one place we see businesses struggle, it's making the shift from educated guesswork to a test-driven way of validating product ideas, feature concepts, and market moves. We get it. Testing sounds simple in theory. In practice, it's hard. Not because you don't care, it's because testing has a few built-in traps that make it easy to avoid, postpone, or do poorly. Over time, we've noticed 3 reasons this happens again and again. First, the tests are often too big. The tests get too ambitious, too thorough, and loaded with effort. They turn into mini initiatives with weeks of work attached. And once a test looks like a massive investment, it stops being a test. It becomes something we delay until the mythical week when everything is calm and nobody is busy, and that week doesn't exist. So you guess. Not because you're reckless, but because guessing feels cheaper than building a full-blown experiment. The test was too big. Second, the tests are mentally demanding. Good tests require clarity. They force you to break down a fuzzy idea into a specific hypothesis, identify what you're trying to learn, and design a small action that can actually teach you something. That's difficult enough on its own. Then you add a second layer of difficulty: judgment. Because it's not just the design of a test. You carry your opinions into it. You load it with preconceptions about what should happen, what you know customers want, and why this idea is obviously the right direction. That makes it hard to separate learning from defending the idea. And once a test feels like a referendum on your competence or your instincts, that becomes emotionally heavy, which makes it easier to avoid. The test was mentally demanding. Third, testing demands measurement, and measurement is harder than it looks. A test without measurement is just activity. But finding meaningful measures is genuinely challenging. It's easy to reach for vanity metrics, numbers that move but don't mean much. It's easy to design metrics that look rigorous yet quietly reward the wrong behavior. And it's easy to fool ourselves with data that mostly reflects noise, timing, or wishful thinking. So even when you want to test, you hesitate. Because the question becomes, how will we know what the results mean? Put those 3 together, and you get a familiar pattern. You agree testing is important, but the moment you try to do it, it feels bigger, harder, and riskier than expected. Testing demands measurement, and measurement is harder than it looks. Still, the alternative is worse, because if you're not testing, you're guessing. And guessing dramatically increases the odds that you invest time, money, and attention in the wrong direction. That waste hurts any business. It can be fatal for a startup, and in a disruption market, it's especially dangerous. In disruption, the environment shifts while you're walking through it. A plan based on last quarter's assumptions can become outdated in weeks. If you keep guessing, you don't just move slower, you drift into the wrong terrain. In other words, disruption is a minefield of untested ideas. The way through isn't to become perfect at experimentation overnight. It's to become consistent, to make testing smaller, more frequent, and more honest, to treat evidence as a survival skill and not a nice to have. Because businesses don't fail from lack of ideas, they fail from investing too much in the wrong ideas for too long. This is where Disruption Dynamics comes in. We'll turn your next guess into a small, useful test. We'll design a simple experiment with clear success criteria you can run this week. Connect with Disruption Dynamics today. It's as easy as commenting on this video. Call, text, or email today. They're all in the doobly-doo. Like and subscribe to make sure that you are getting the latest from Disruption Dynamics, where we help business adapt fast, stay focused, and thrive in disruption. Let us create a useful test for you today. Thank you.